What is going on, guys? So today we are learning frontside 180s. You should learn frontside 180s very soon after you've learned ollies. If you can't ollie, make sure you go and watch my how to ollie tutorial, because if you cannot ollie, you will not be able to do the frontside 180. As always, the first thing we want to start with is foot placement. The foot placement for front 180s are very similar to the foot placement for ollies, except we want to have our front foot just a little bit further up the board. Notice how my front foot is covering the back two bolts. Our back foot's going to be pretty much the same as for an ollie, although you may want to scoot your toes back towards the heel side of your deck just a centimeter or two. Weight distribution for the frontside 180 is also going to be pretty much exactly the same as weight distribution for the ollie. Front 180s and any 180, and I cannot emphasize this enough, is all about the shoulders and the head, not the feet. If you try to do a frontside 180 without moving your shoulders and your head the right way, you will not be able to do it. You're going to crouch down, pop your tail, and slide your foot just the same as you would for an ollie. The difference here is that just before you pop your tail, you're going to want to start turning your head and your shoulders in the direction that you want to rotate. You should be turning your head and shoulders front side, opening your shoulders up towards the direction that you're riding before your tail ever pops against the ground. As Rodney Mullen once said, when it comes to skateboarding, shoulders are everything. Your lower body, and therefore your skateboard, if you've done a good ollie, will follow your upper body's lead. When you do a frontside 180, you do land switch stance, so just make sure that you're fairly comfortable riding with your feet the opposite way of the normal way that you ride. You don't need to be able to do any switch tricks or ride your board really fast switch or even necessarily push switch. You just want to be able to ride that way. If you're able to ride up the quarter pipe at your local skate park and come back down fakie, and you feel fairly comfortable doing this, that should be plenty of comfortability riding switch to do this trick. So here's a helpful little tip. When you do the 180, you don't want your back foot to be your pivot point. So some people, when they're first learning frontside 180s, they want to try to sort of rotate around their back truck, almost sort of like a power slide motion where you're trying to bring the nose of the skateboard around. You're trying to swing the nose around towards the back while rotating around the back foot. Try not to think of it that way. Think of it more like you're bringing the tail of the skateboard around to the front, rotating around your front foot. So imagine that your front foot is actually the pivot point around which the rest of your body and your skateboard is rotating rather than your back foot. And along the same lines, when you land, I'd say you want to have just a little bit more weight on your front foot, which is actually now your back foot. So if you can master this motion right here, pivoting on your front truck, then that is really similar to the motion you want to be doing in the air when you ollie for the front 180. All right, so let's summarize. Got to have your ollies down. Make sure you turn your head and shoulders front side before you pop your ollie, and your lower body and board will follow through on the 180. Be comfortable enough riding switch or fakie that you're able to land that way when you do the 180. And finally, try and imagine yourself as pivoting around your front foot in the air rather than around your back foot. The motion is more like bringing your tail forward rather than bringing your nose back. Like with any new trick, it's going to take a little bit of practice to get it down, but hopefully this tip will help speed up that process. If you found this video helpful, consider liking and subscribing. And as always, if you have any trick tip requests, drop those in the comments below. Oh, and if you're having any problems with the frontside 180 that I didn't cover in the video, mention those in the comments too, and I'll help you out. Till next time.